Portal. Current events. Portal. Talk language. Watch view source. Worldwide current events. Sports events. Recent deaths. Entry views by week list. Today's most viewed articles. Topics in the news. Alan Greenspan. 2 earthquakes strike Venezuela, leaving more than 920 people dead and tens of thousands of others missing. Former chair of the U.S. Federal Reserve Alan Greenspan, pictured, dies at the age of 100. Keir Starmer announces his intention to resign as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. An attack by Jamaat Nusrat al-Islam while Muslim at Diary Hamani International Airport in Niger kills 35 people, including 22 gunmen. Ongoing. Ebola epidemic. FIFA World Cup. Flamingo Revolution. Iran War. Lebanon War. Russo-Ukrainian War Timeline. Sudanese Civil War Timeline. Recent deaths. Clive Davis. Walter Pereira. Robert Thurman. Carlo Ginsberg. Bobby Prince. Abdel Ibrahim. Nominated article June 27, 2026. Saturday. Edit the story. Watch armed conflicts and attacks. 2026 Iran War. 2026 Strait of Hormuz crisis. The South Korean Ocean Ministry reports that 2 vessels operated by Korean shipping companies have successfully transited through the Strait of Hormuz after being stranded for months during the Iran War. The Korea Times. Yonhap News Agency. June 26, 2026 Friday. Edit the story. Watch armed conflicts and attacks. Middle Eastern crisis. 2026 Iran War. 2025 to 2026 Iran United States negotiations. Islamabad Memorandum. International Atomic Energy Agency. IAEA. Secretary General Rafael Grossi says that the interim ceasefire peace deal between Iran and the United States would allow the IAEA access to Iran's nuclear inspectors. Reuters. A direct communications line between Iran and the U.S. is established under Article 5 of the Memorandum of Understanding over the Strait of Hormuz in an effort to prevent incidents that could lead to military confrontation. AA. 2026 Strait of Hormuz crisis. 2026 Strait of Hormuz campaign. The International Maritime Organization says that 115 vessels and 2,500 seafarers have been evacuated from the Strait of Hormuz since the plan was announced. AA. The United States Central Command says its forces have conducted airstrikes on Iran in response to yesterday's drone strike on a civilian Singapore-flagged cargo ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz, striking Iranian missile and drone storage sites and coastal radar sites. Reuters. 2026 Lebanon War. 2026 Israel-Lebanon peace talks. Israeli occupation of southern Lebanon. Israel, Lebanon, and the United States sign a trilateral framework agreement in Washington, D.C. that provides for the transfer of 2 Israeli-held areas to Lebanese army control and establishes a process for the disarmament of Hezbollah. Axios via Harnett. AFTV RFI Reuters. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu states that his forces will remain in southern Lebanon until Hezbollah disarms, despite the framework agreement. AFTV Le Monde. Xinhua. Netanyahu states that displaced Lebanese civilians will not be permitted to return to areas within the Israeli-controlled security zone in southern Lebanon under arrangements announced following the agreement. AFTV Dawn. Russo. Ukrainian war. Crimea attacks. A state of emergency is declared in Russian-occupied Crimea in response to an increasing number of airstrikes by Ukrainian forces. The New York Times. Attacks in Russia during the Russo-Ukrainian war. Ukraine launches its largest drone attack on Russia since the start of the war, with over 660 drones launched at multiple regions, including Moscow Oblast, as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he has approved the 40-day campaign aimed at compelling Russia to end the war. AP Arts and Culture. Eurovision Song Contest 2027. The European Broadcasting Union approves Canada's possible participation in next year's Eurovision Song Contest in Bulgaria, which would mark their first appearance at the annual song contest. BBC News. Disasters and accidents. 2026 Venezuela earthquakes. The confirmed toll of the June 24th earthquakes in Venezuela rises to 920 people killed and over 3,360 injured, with 51,000 reported missing. CTV News. Reuters. A building collapses in Lagos, Nigeria, killing 9 people. Reuters. A small plane crashes into the China's skyscraper in Beijing, China. The New York Times. Health and Environment. 2026 European Heat. Swiss Energy Utility Expo suspends operations at the Besnon nuclear power plant in Dunningen, Aargau, Switzerland, after the temperature of the Aar River, which the plant uses for cooling, reached 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit. AFTV of the Straits Times. The Met Office records the United Kingdom's highest temperature in June after a provisional high of 37.3 degrees Celsius, 99.1 degrees Fahrenheit, is recorded in Santon-Downham, Suffolk, breaking the previous record high set yesterday in Somerset, while wildfires spread in Derbyshire, burning approximately 22 hectares across the High Peak Moor. BBC News. International relations. Burkina Faso-France relations. Burkina Faso severs diplomatic relations with France, citing concerns over sovereignty. Reuters. Law and crime. Gen Z protests. Tanzania bans all political rallies in the country ahead of planned protests against last year's disputed election results in the detention of an opposition leader, Tundu Lissu, who has been charged with treason by the government. AP migration and asylum policy of the European Union. The European Union imposes strict visa restrictions on Somali diplomatic passport holders following a dispute over the deportation and readmission of undocumented Somalis living illegally in Europe. Al Jazeera. Business Insider. Politico.